Hi everyone, here's a recap of the top 5 things we did in Kyoto with 2 bonus restaurant recommendations that blew us away. Enjoy! Starting off with the first thing on our list, we recommend checking out a kimono rental shop while you're in Kyoto. There are a lot of options that you can choose from, but we recommend the one we did at Kyoto Maikoya. Not only is it a kimono rental place, but it also includes a guided matcha tea ceremony. First and foremost, I really enjoyed the dress-up experience and taking photos for our memories. There are no professional photography, which can be a pro or a con. For us, we preferred this method because we could take all the photos that we wanted without feeling awkward. Plus, people were so friendly that they offered to take photos for each other. I think the part that stood out the most to us was the instructor-led tea ceremony. Not only did the instructor speak perfect English, but she also gracefully taught us how to correctly whisk matcha, which I believe a majority of us were also doing incorrectly at this part. But that was good and an everlasting life souvenir for us. The shop also allowed us to walk around with our kimonos in the Nishiki market and surrounding area after our class was done, so that was a really good experience for us as well. Our second recommendation in Kyoto, the matcha capital, is to try their matcha in different ways. Surprisingly, matcha is not super readily available all throughout Japan like I initially thought, so it's very important to try authentic matcha while you're here in Kyoto. We recommend trying the regular cafe-style matcha first, before you move on to the traditional matcha places, just so you can start to get a feel and start appreciating matcha. This wasaban matcha latte was so good, and look at that vibrant green color. You really start to appreciate matcha after you see the difference. Continuing on with our matcha adventures, now that you've had a taste of matcha lattes, it is now the time to try the traditional tea ceremony matcha drinks. For this experience, we recommend going to a well-known tea house. For us, we chose to go to Ippudo's Tea's main store in Kyoto that has a tasting cafe, so you can try it before you buy. I didn't know this at the time, but apparently this Ippudo has been in Kyoto since 1717. This cafe is definitely more expensive compared to the typical matcha lattes that you can buy, but we highly recommend this experience so you can try the difference between koicha matcha versus the usucha matcha. We specifically chose the Kyoto exclusive for both drinks. The difference is that usucha is the matcha type that's known for their light, smooth taste, and is the usual one that you will find in matcha lattes when you go to cafes, versus koicha is the thick and viscous matcha that they use for formal tea ceremonies. Prior to this experience, I didn't know if I would have liked koicha, but this is the prime example of don't knock it till you try it. The taste and the mouthfeel blew me away, and we actually ended up buying both the koicha and the usucha as souvenirs. They are very, very different, and I think you would only really start to appreciate it when you're able to compare them side by side. So that was our main plan about buying both of them. And then we also really wanted to show off the matcha whisking skills that we learned during the last tea ceremony that we attended. And an extra tip is that if you are thinking of getting matcha souvenirs for people, also keep in mind about the expiration date as well too, because these matchas only really last for a couple months. And then for our third recommendation, we recommend that you check out temples and shrines while you're in Kyoto. Even if you're not religious, I highly recommend that you check these places out just to see the work and the craftsmanship of the past. They're also usually free entry, so they're good for the budget as well too. One thing we really liked about the cities in Kyoto is the abundance of local temples and shrines everywhere. Temples are for the Buddhist religion and are known by their big samon gates at the entrance, while shrines are for the Shinto religion and are known for their red torii gates at the entrance. It's important to note that they are different, but they coexist together in Kyoto. We found this local temple while we were walking around in the Kyoto residential area, and we loved how quiet and tranquil it was. It was honestly really only frequented by the locals there, so we really got to take our time and just look around and enjoy the scenery. While we enjoy going to local temples, I also highly recommend that you check out the temples visited by tourists because they are popular for a reason. In particular, this temple had a really big koi pond all around the temple outer area, so you got to admire how big these koi fishes are. And then this temple in particular that I'm inside is called the Higashi Honganji Temple, and it's also free entry and a close 10-minute walk from Kyoto Station. This place was actually so big, so grand. They have 3 distinct areas, and they actually have a stamp race going on just so you can actually stamp off when you reach off to each of the individual areas. It was a really fun activity for myself, and it made me encouraged to walk all around the area and admire the amazing architectural details between the different areas. Plus, it's still a temple space, so it's overall still a very peaceful and tranquil experience. Sometimes when you're traveling, it's just really nice to get away from the hustle and bustle of the city, and this place was perfect for that. So this is me actually at the stamp station. the very last one. So I'm using the stamp ink and the stamp here. And one thing to make a note of, if you're interested in doing stamp races in Japan, is to bring your own booklet because usually there's not paper everywhere. And then this is a note just to keep your eyes peeled when you're walking around Kyoto because you'll never know when you'll stumble upon a random temple or shrine. Like in Nishiki Market, we didn't expect it, but we actually found one that was very beautiful and full of these red lanterns that you can see. It was very unexpected because it was just in between these two shopping stalls. But it was really nice just to take a look around. It had everything that you would expect to find, and it was also very quiet and very tranquil. I think just going to these spaces just makes you so zen. So we really like that, and they also had these lucky charms that you can get as well too. Here are some clips of the shrines that we were able to find in Kyoto during our trip. We actually didn't have time to check out the famous Fushimi Inari shrine in Kyoto that everybody goes to, but if you're also in a similar situation, then don't worry. There are also local shrines dotted all throughout Kyoto that you can stumble upon randomly during your trip. You can most likely do a quick Google search just to see if there's any shrines nearby in your local area, or you can be like us and just go for random residential walks and just keep your eyes peeled for the iconic red torii gates. As you walk towards this area, it's most likely leading to a shrine like this one here. This is a local shrine, so it was really only visited by local residents in the area, so we really got to take our time just to enjoy this area without any busy crowds. It is very nice just to take a look at the different elements because temples and shrines are indeed very different. One thing that we also noticed is that these areas are really well taken care of. You can really see that they put a lot of investment and care into preserving the culture. So you really get to admire that as you look around and also get to enjoy the serene atmosphere. If you get a chance to visit or have an overnight trip to Arashiyama, which is another neighborhood in Kyoto, I also highly recommend that you check out the beautiful temple and shrines in this area. It's even more majestical for us because these areas were located within the beautiful mountains that Arashiyama is known for. So you get to see the vibrant green backdrops as you go through these areas, and depending on the season, I think the leaves will also change color as well too. So you really get to admire the beauty of Arashiyama with the mountains, the rivers, and the city view as you go through these areas. In particular, this one is the Horanji temple that we found while we were randomly walking once again in Arashiyama. So I really recommend just taking a look around in your local area and seeing what else is available. A lot of people in Arashiyama tend to just go to the popular touristy spots, but they don't really go to these hidden gem spots. So I really recommend just taking a walk around and seeing what's available. This shrine is a perfect example of that as well too. This is called the Nonomiya Shrine, which is only a couple minutes walk from the very popular Arashiyama bamboo forest. If we didn't take our time to walk around, we would have missed this hidden gem. There were not a lot of people here because I guess everybody is mainly at the bamboo forest. So we really got our time just to spend in this area by ourselves to admire the beautiful red torii gates surrounded by the moss garden that this area is actually known for. You get to see all of that natural lights just going through the forest leaves, and it's just made for a really nice atmosphere as well. We're sharing a couple of our favorite photos that we took while we're in the Arashiyama area, just so you can really admire the scale of how big these temples and shrines are. You get to admire the rich history about these places and also get to admire the beautiful scenery that you're inside. So moving on to one of our bonus recommendations, which is one of the first restaurants that we really enjoyed in the Kyoto city center. This is the Tsuke-yasai Isoism location in Kyoto. That's only a couple minutes walk from Kyoto Station. We got the set menu, and I actually recommend booking a reservation in advance because it's not too big of a store. But you can see through these clips that there are so much yasai, which is vegetable elements in all their dishes. They're actually known for pickled vegetables in particular, as you can see on this little box presentation area. And it was such a fun experience seeing how pickles could be used in so many different ways. And most importantly, it was delicious. Our fourth recommendation for Kyoto is to check out the Arashiyama Monkey Park. It's a really cool experience that we recommend if you're in the area. You pay a pretty affordable entry fee. It's around 800 for adults and 400 yen for children. And you get to hike around 20 minutes up to the top and you'll start seeing wild snow monkeys. The main thing is just making sure you are fit enough to go up on this hike because it is quite uphill, and depending on the weather, it can be pretty hot. But once you're at the very top, you get to see all these cute snow monkeys playing around. They are the type of monkeys that are known for their red colored faces and buttocks, and both the youth and the adult monkeys come down from the area that they live in, and you get to see them interact together. They're really cute, adorable, and have this fluffy looking coat as well too. But remember that these monkeys are still wild monkeys, so you can't touch them, but you can feed them if you purchase the feed from the feeding hut. So you just stand closely behind the cage area here and you're able to give them a little bit of snacks that the staff provide for you. I've only ever seen these monkeys before in YouTube videos in the past, so this was a really cool experience to see them out and just acting like normal. You can see some of them are really cheeky and they actually get into fights together. If you don't really care about monkeys, I still recommend that you come check out this place just to get the beautiful 360 views from the very top. You get to see the Arashiyama mountains as well as the river and the city views as well. So that made for a really nice experience. You really feel like you're getting a 2-in-1 combo just by coming up here. So my fifth recommendation for your Kyoto trip is to check out a Japanese foot spa and foot massage store. In particular, we really liked the one that we booked on Klook before our trip. This place was called the Arashiyama Foot Bath and Blissful Foot Massage in Kyoto. It was a really nice area that offered a 3-in-1 combo. So for the first part, you get to choose the type of foot bath you're using. In particular, here we have the matcha foot bath called the nagomi, as well as the flower foot bath that's called the miyabi. While you're enjoying this beautiful foot bath experience with the lovely smells, you get to also enjoy some food as well too. So there's a cafe part of this where you get both snacks and a drink of your choosing, and you just get to sit and relax and enjoy your experience before the next stage, which is the foot massage that I unfortunately don't have any clips of. Oops. Saving the best thing for last. That's why I left this bonus restaurant recommendation at the very end. This is a restaurant called Muku in Arashiyama. It is actually a restaurant that's attached to the hotel that we're staying in, but I believe you can also come in here as a drop-in or by reservation as well too. They are a restaurant that focuses on dashi and rice, and they have a course menu where you can choose from, and it has all these delectable little bites, so you get to really sample and taste a little bit of everything. Everything was so good. Even this tamagoyaki, it was literally the most silkiest tamagoyaki I've had so far. The drinks were great that you can choose from. All of the cutlery that they used was amazing. This one looked like a pokeball, for example. And they even give you like sampler rice before you get started, just so you can really taste to see if that is the quality of rice that you like. Overall, this was just a good experience of amazing quality Japanese customer service, as well as amazing food that wasn't rich on any MSG or anything like that. If you want any more context for these recommendations, please watch our Kyoto vlogs. And please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. We're releasing more Japan vlogs weekly.